So Toyota's journey to the United States, the big market, the biggest market on the planet, right? Began in 1973 with the Toyota Auto Body Company in California. That was their first plant. Couldn't make the whole vehicle, so they made parts. Then they had the joint venture with General Motors I just talked about in the last video, the Tmmk joint venture. That was in Fremont, California. That was started in 1984. And then laws changed again until Toyota was able to build their first wholly owned facility in the United States. And so they went on a search for the perfect location. And they found it in Kentucky, in central Kentucky, Georgetown, Kentucky, about 12 miles north of Lexington, in the middle of the bluegrass, horse country, beautiful place. Um, Kentucky had its one and only female governor at the time, Martha Lane Collins. And this is important to me because I grew up in Kentucky. At this particular time, I was in the Army. I was actually in Germany. But I remember that the governor had put together this incentive package for Toyota that was really pretty generous. I mean, tax abatements and grants and partnerships with educational institutions and learning promises, all kinds of these wonderful things. And she got criticized pretty severely for giving such a generous package to a foreign corporation. Well, what Toyota did was they started building the plant in 1986. They finished the plant and had the first car roll off the production line in 1988. They employed about 3,000 people there, but within a few years, I think it was 1993, the plant doubled in size. Today, they produce about 2,100 cars a day, and they employ about 10,000 people. About 10,000 people show up at work at this Georgetown facility every single day. But Toyota didn't stop in Kentucky. In 1986, at the same time they were building the Georgetown plant, they were building a plant in Ontario, Canada. Then in 1990, they built two engine plants, one in Missouri and one in Tennessee. Yeah, I'm checking my notes. So in 1996, they opened a plant in Princeton, Indiana, Toyota Motor Manufacturing, Indiana, and they make the Highlander there, along with the Sequoia and the Sienna minivan. Then they built an engine plant in West Virginia, Buffalo, West Virginia. That was 1996 as well. And in 2001, they built an engine plant in Huntsville, Alabama. In 2002, they built a plant to build Tacoma trucks and truck beds in Tijuana, Baja California, in Mexico. In 2003, San Antonio, Texas, they built the Toyota Motor Manufacturing Texas that makes the Tundra and the Tacoma. And there are a lot of pretty cool stories about the design team that did the Tundra, and that'll come up, I'm sure, sometime during the course. In 2019, that was the latest plant that actually opened. It was in Mexico to assemble more Tacomas. And then they've got one slated to open this year in Huntsville, Alabama, a joint venture with Mazda. So I thought that was pretty cool. But the governor who put this package together and landed this deal and brought Toyota to Kentucky, she was a one-term governor, and they kind of ran her out of office. But now she's absolutely revered as a genius because the economic benefit that Kentucky reaps from Toyota's presence is just phenomenal. So I said they've got 10,000 employees there, but they've created probably 100,000 jobs and over 150 supporting manufacturing and logistics operations in and around Kentucky to provide support to that Georgetown plant. So it was an amazing decision, an amazing company, an amazing partnership. And why is it so important to me? Well, when I already said I grew up in Kentucky, but when I retired from the Army in 2001, I went to work at the University of Kentucky. And of course, we had a partnership between the University of Kentucky and Toyota. That was part of the negotiated deal. So we have Toyota scholars, people doing PhD dissertations in engineering topics working at Toyota. It's fabulous. When I was working there, I was an industrial extension specialist in the College of Engineering, working in the Center for Robotics and Manufacturing Systems. and I had my own badge to Toyota. So they told me go and research, go and study, go and see as much time as you can spend on the floor at Toyota. And so I did. I wish I had spent more time in there, but I went in and I studied things like the suggestion system, their quality circles programs, and I dug around a little bit in their visual management systems and their leadership development stuff, but not as much as I wanted to. But I've learned so much just by going and observing things and watching Kaizen teams operate and just watching work teams operate at Toyota. It's a fascinating place. It's also, I think, the one of the top five, I guess would be safe to say, tourist attractions in Kentucky because they offer free plant tours. You go in, it's like industrial Disneyland. You go into the visitor center, you get your badge, you get your briefing, you get your safety glasses, and you go onto a little red trolley that it's a 90-minute tour through all the different aspects of this plant. It's well worth the trip. You might consider going down there. I'd love to take a group down there, so maybe we can arrange something like that. I don't know, maybe next semester. All right. Um, Send me your questions. The next thing that I want to talk about is the International Motor Vehicle Program, and then we'll kind of wrap this up with where the literature rounded up and where Toyota's going in the future.